Okay, so I have downloaded the final exam review. So there's two PDF files here. So basically, begin a metric furniture family. Create a furniture family that includes the three types of shelving units described on the double-sided handout, and that is this. So basically, it means this is the tall shelf, square shelf, and long shelf. So those are the three types. Make sure to create all of the parameters listed on the handout. So specifically, length, width, height, panel thickness, top shelf spacing, middle shelf spacing, bottom shelf spacing, and baseboard. So it tells you that all of these things should be parameters. So parameters are the things that sort of inform the family type. So I'll demonstrate this as I go, but these are basically the variables that allow you to flex the model that we were creating before. Note that all three shelves have a unit depth of 450. No problem. Okay, so let's get going. So I'm going to say family new, metric furniture. Okay, open it up. Okay, so where to start? I think what I'll do is I'm gonna start by creating a couple of reference planes that I'm gonna stick this stuff to. So I'm gonna create a reference plane. Basically, I want to create a framework that's gonna dictate that I can attach these variables to, and sorry, I'm gonna start again. I want to create a framework of reference planes, and I think I'd like to create one for this, one for this, one for the top, one for the bottom, and one for each of the shelves, maybe one here too. And then I'm going to control the distance between those reference planes using these variables: top shelf, middle shelf, bottom shelf spacing. And once I have that framework and it flexes properly, I should be able to attach, extrusions, physical extrusions to that framework, and they'll move along with it. And since everything is 450 millimeters deep, I'm gonna set this series of reference planes up from the front, the front view of the piece of furniture, because the depth never changes. So let's get started on that. So let's go to the, I think it's gonna be, you can set this up a bunch of ways, but this is how I would recommend doing it. So elevation, front, here we go. So we want one reference plane here, and one reference plane is 1250 away. Or I'm going to put the reference plane on the inside, and I'm going to stick these 38 millimeter pieces on the outside. I think that would make more sense. So let's create, let's go here. So, sorry, I keep jumping back and forth. So 1250 minus 38 minus 38, 1174. So I would like to make them 1174 apart from each other. So reference plane, one here, offset 1174. Is that it? Let's see the distance. No. What happened? Create reference plane, offset 1174. Oh, pick line. Oops. There we go. Now, I don't know if I want to use this line here. So I'm just going to build my model. I wonder if that's going to come back and bite me, but I don't think so. Maybe what I'll do is I'll center it on that. No, I'm just gonna ignore it for now. We'll see if it comes back to haunt me later. So what I'm gonna do here is create one more reference plane. Oh no, now I have the sides. So I think I'm gonna create a bottom one and a top one. So maybe I'll escape. Okay, I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna label it left left gable, sorry, other left, right gable. Okay, left gable. I apologize if I spelled gable wrong. I'm not gonna take up your time by Googling it and correcting myself. This will be ground. Yes. I'm just gonna extend this a little bit. Okay. You know what? Pinned objects were not deleted. Okay, I'm not gonna delete it. Fine. So now I have that, and now I'm gonna do 1,800. So I'm gonna do another reference plane, 1,800 up, and I'm not even gonna worry about where I place that, because remember, when you click it, it lets you change the height. So this will be top. Top of shelf. I'm not sure if all of these names are going to be important at this point, but I just want to do them so that I can sort of orient myself. They're more for me than they are for any functional purpose. Now what I'm doing here is this one here, this little shelf, is always equidistant from either gable. So I'm just setting up a small reference plane here, and I'm going to add a bit of parametric stuff to it. So this one I'm going to call middle gable. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and add our first parametric bit of modeling to it. So that's always going to be equidistant. Okay, so we've got that. Now it looks like we're referencing, basically we want to leave this top shelf to be variable in height, I guess. Here you can see it's a much taller shelf, here it's a much shorter shelf, because the spacing between these other shelves is different. So it looks like this is sort of dimensioned, so to speak, bottom up, with leaving the top part variable. Here bottom up, top part is variable, and so I'm going to start dimensioning this from the bottom up as well. So I'm going to go 150. What is the thickness of those panels? 19 millimeters. Okay, shelf thickness. Oh, that's also a variable. Okay. So let's go. So create reference plane. So this one is going to be called baseboard. No, the reference plane doesn't have to be called baseboard. I'm going to leave that one unnamed for now. I don't think we need to name it just yet. So 150. Now create reference plane, offset 19. Actually, do I need to offset that? I don't think I do. I'm going to offset it 419 and 419 and 419. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm basically going to stick a reference plane on the bottom of every shelf, or sorry, let me reverse that. I'm going to stick the bottom of the shelves to every reference plane that I draw, and that's how I'm going to make it a parametric model. So I'm going to go here, offset 419, 1, sorry, create reference plane. Okay, pick, what's going on here? Okay, 419, and 419. Okay, you know what, maybe I'll label this baseboard bottom, middle, top. Just in case it comes in handy. There we go. Okay. That looks okay to me. So now, you know what? I'm gonna, yeah, let's just start. So where you have the height, length, let's start with that. So annotate. This should be 1250, so we want to offset. So now for the purpose of getting these dimensions right, which will be important because for instance this one, let's set it up already as a parameter. So I'm going to click this. I think what I'm going to say is family types. No, sorry, escape. No, click this, create parameter. There we go. And this one is going to be named height. Now it pops up here, and now I can modify that as a parameter over here. Now I don't want to mess with it just yet. Well, let's mess with it. Why not? 1, 2, 3. It's going to mess up my model, but we'll set it back after. Apply. See, it shrinks. So we're going to go cancel, undo. There we go. But now I want these other dimensions to be correct. So what I'm going to do is add a few more reference planes, but I'm not going to label these ones. So reference plane, offset, big line, offset, I believe it's 38. So one here, and now I'm going to offset 19. And I'm going to just give a second one above each of these reference lines. So now this dimension, I'm going to delete it, annotate, 1250. Let's create a parameter out of that. So this is length. Now one problem I can see here is that if we change the length, it's not going to affect this dimension, these two dimensions. And let me show you. First, let me demonstrate that. Let me confirm that what I'm saying is correct, because maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, it's as I suspected. Okay, so what we want is we want these to shrink as this changes. But the thing we also want is these panels, these gables, these side gables, this piece of material and that piece of material, those can't change. They got to be 38 millimeters wide, right? It's just the spacing that's going to change. So I'm going to go annotate and set a dimension here and lock it, and set a dimension here and lock it. And now, since this dimension is stuck to this line, and now I've stuck this line with a permanent dimension, 38, unchangeable to the outside, now the length parameter can impact everything in between all of these dimensions. I guess let me demonstrate what I'm saying. So let's try length again. Let's switch it to 700. This should become much smaller now. Perfect. It did do exactly what it was supposed to. Cancel, undo. So we flex the model. That works correctly. Now, baseboard 150. Then I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lock these as being 19 at all times. Oh no, I'm going to make that shelf thickness. It's going to be a variable. Okay. So let's do that first. Annotate. 19. Now I wonder if I can set this up as a parameter first. Shelf. And now I'm going to do this the wrong way first, just to show you. You can't have a space in the name of a parameter, so if I hit OK, it took it. I guess you can have a space. Never mind. I don't know why I put the underscores in all of this stuff then, but it's there. I'm going to change this to 1 to 5. I want this to be text to be a little bit smaller, maybe 1 to 10 for now. Annotate. Another one, and one more. Okay, and now I'd like to make this shelf thickness. And let me see, can I do both of these at once? Why not? There we go. And now I'm gonna make it smaller. I know it's too hard to read now, but I just don't want to have a whole bunch of overlapping text. So shelf thickness is now a parameter. And now let's go from the bottom to here. Oh, never mind. I'm going to go back to 10. Okay, 150. Annotate. From here. What did I do here? 400. Good. From here to here. Oh, I got the wrong one. There. Okay. Get it together. There we go. There we go. There we go. And I don't think we want that final dimension because we want to leave that as the variable part. So top shelf, middle shelf, bottom shelf, baseboard. Type baseboard. Oops. Bottom shelf. Middle shelf. Top shelf. Okay. There we go. This looks pretty set up now. I think we could even try to flex it. So let's, you know what? So let's do this. Let's go, these are all the correct dimensions, I think, for the tall shelf. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the family type button and move it out of the way. And we're going to do something new. We're going to say new type. And we're going to call this tall shelf. Hit OK. Now I'm going to create another new type, and I'm going to call this square shelf. Okay, and here the parameters are going to be different. So here the height is only 1200. This is 250, 250, 150. So bottom is 250. Middle is 250. And top is 150. Now I wonder if you should be able to move these around. Move parameter up. So I'd like to have top, middle, and bottom all together. Right? We don't want to be looking for them all over the place. Height, baseboard, let's make that at the bottom. Let's attach that to these. Perfect. Now let's see if the model flexes. I'm going to hit apply. It looked like it did the right thing to me. Okay, baseboard. Oh, baseboard is having some issues. Let's hit. Okay, no, baseboard should be 150. What's its problem? Let's hit OK and see what's up. Baseboard, what's the size? 150. No, it's okay. Looks fine to me. So now check this out. We go from here, square shelf, tall shelf, apply. Boom. square shelf, apply, boom. Now this is only reference planes flexing so far, but now we can start attaching real stuff to it. Before we do that, we're going to do one more. We're going to call it long shelf. Hit OK. So now we should have 3 here. And we're doing the long shelf. And what does the long shelf want? 150, 250, 250. So top shelf is now 250. Okay, let's change that. And the length, height stays 1200, length is 2500. Apply. Okay. Now that did what it was supposed to as well. What's going on here? So one thing I want to fix up before I move on is I want to kind of extend. Can I extend them? No. I'm going to have to do it one at a time. Oh, great. I don't know if this is important or not, but you know what? I don't want it to mess up as we're going through it. I'm almost certain it's not important. And therefore, but I just don't want to get most of the way through this example and something has gone wrong. I'm almost certain this doesn't matter. But what I'm trying to do is just extend these reference planes so they still cross that last gable. And up here is the top. Okay, done. These can stay here, that's fine. I would not pay any attention to this line. This is the center slash line that was originally here. But this line here moved correctly. See, it's equidistant. It's still equidistant. So it did everything correctly. So now I'm going to go back to family types, tall shelf, apply. Okay. Everything looks good here. And now I'm going to start sticking actual extrusions onto this framework. So what do we got? We're going to do this nosing thing at the end. I believe that just means the top part is curved. We don't have a section here, but anyway, it is. That top part is curved. So what we're going to start doing first, I'm going to do the extrusions of these gables first. So I'm going to go to create extrusion, pick line. So I want this to be here, here, up here, and down here. And I'm going to trim this thing up. Okay, I think that's goes all the way up. And you know what? I'm going to do it on the other side too. Now careful when you're doing 2 extrusions at once on a parametric model, because okay, because this could be a source of conflict. If one of these gables was supposed to be a different size for some reason, you know, under one of the conditions, let's say the tall shelf had them both identical and the long shelf had one gable being thicker than the other, then doing these extrusions as one could mess that up. I should have, in that case, I should have done an extrusion, click the check mark, done another extrusion, click the check mark. But I think we're okay doing it this way in this case. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this stuff. Nope, that didn't work. Okay, good. So these are all locked, which means that they've basically attached themselves to these reference lines, the reference planes that we set up. This one is also locked. So it looks like they've already stuck themselves to it. Now all we have to do is highlight everything and say, shoot, did I not set the depth? Oh, here we go. Start extrusion 0, end extrusion 450, because we want them 450 deep. Apply, check mark, 3D. Okay, back to front view. So let's see if this flexes. Oh, here, let's do a shaded view as well. Let's see if these things flex the way they're supposed to now. So here's the test. Square shelf, apply, Perfect. Long shelf. Apply. Perfect. Back to tall shelf. Let's add the next piece. So notice there I flexed it. As soon as we add anything, flex it, make sure it works. Because if you do 2 or 3 things layered on top of each other and then you flex it and it doesn't work, now suddenly you have to figure out where the error is, and that it could be layers deep. So now we want to do some shelves, I think. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves. Okay. Annotate. No, sorry. Create. Extrusion. And now I'm just going to save myself a bit of time, and I'm going to pick a rectangle. Go in here. There's one. Everything. Oop, it did not lock. So I want to lock it. Nope. Undo. Oh, shit. Okay. Sorry, I swore again. Rectangle. There we go. I'm going to lock it to the bottom, because this is where my variable attaches to. It's the bottom reference plane. I don't necessarily need to lock it to the top plane. And I'm also going to lock it to the side and to the side, because I want it to stretch based on these 2 reference planes. Now I'm going to do that again. Lock the bottom. The sides are already locked. Excellent. Lock the bottom. Sides are locked. Lock the bottom. Sides are already locked. Let's hit the... Oh, depth is good. Check mark. Okay. We have our shelves, so we're going to now flex it again. Tall shelf. Square shelf. Long shelf. Back to tall. And now once in a while I've noticed this messes up. I'm going to do it in a different order. I'm going to go to long shelf. Okay. It can sort of flex between any which family we have successfully. So good. We've added another bit of material to this, and it's flexing properly. So now if you zoom into here, it looks like this shelf is stuck slightly to the left of that reference plane. So we're just going to follow the same instructions. Yeah. So we're going to go create, extrusion, pick line, offset 19, offset from there. Give me a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I messed that up. I messed all of that up. I'm going to undo it because I had the 19 offset still set on there. And now we have this nosing in the way. So I don't want this divider to interfere with the nosing. The nosing is 50 deep. So I'm going to offset this divider 50 below this top line. And now I'm going to set the offset to 0, and I'm just going to draw lines from here to here to there. Clean it up. There we go. Now this, I would like to stick this to this middle reference plane, but it doesn't seem to want to let me do that. I have to find out why not. Let me try redrawing it. Nope, it's not letting me do that. Well, let's just see what it does. We can dimension it. I could add a dimension, I suppose. Oh, it's 1. Why is it off? Maybe that's why. Pick line. There. There. Okay. Ah, perfect. Now it's locked. Okay, now I'm happy. Let me just make sure that the distance is correct. 19, yeah, we're in business. Check mark. Okay. Now, let's see how it flexes. I know we only added one thing, but I'm going to be cautious. Good. Perfect. Back to tall shelf. Okay, let's quickly see what that looks like in 3D. Square shelf, long shelf, and back to tall shelf. Okay, back to the front. Okay, so we're good to go. Now let's add the baseboard. So the baseboard, extrude. Sorry if you hear the screaming in the back, the kids are up. Let's see what we can get done before the kids go nuts. Baseboard, okay. Now I want to lock that to here, to here. I think I'm just going to lock it to all of them. Why not? And this is only going to be 19 deep, because it doesn't have to go all the way to the back. So apply, check mark. Oh, I guess we're building it from this side, no problem. Okay. Let's flex it. Let's not get cocky. Square shelf, long shelf. That looks good to me. Back to here. Tall shelf, okay. Let's go back to the front elevation. There we go. Now, we need to do this bit of nosing here. Now the nosing, we're gonna have to do an extruded profile. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go to the left elevation. So here's our baseboard. You know what, let me do shade. Nope, that's not good. Let's do wireframe. Okay. Oh, that's the divider shelf. Okay. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go create extrusion. I'm going to say pick line. So I want this line and this line. Pick line offset 19. So offset below, offset to the front. 19, now offset 31 more. Okay, there we go. Now fillet arc, radius 19, I believe. Fillet this and this. Holy smokes, nope. What the heck happened here? Radius 19. Okay, so let's, you know what, I'm going to trim this up just to make a bit more sense out of it. Give me a line here. Let's break it here and here. Delete that piece. Delete that piece. Take care of that, take care of that, take care of that. And that. And now, fillet arc. Oh, I had radius 91. There we go. Now it makes sense. Okay. And so we have our extrusion. I'm going to set it, doesn't matter what distance we set it to, and I'll show you why right now. I'm just going to set it to 100. Apply. Check mark. Don't worry about that. 3D. Oh wow, it's like all over the place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch it till it sort of sticks to that side. Stretch this till it sticks to the inside of that. Nope, I didn't quite hit my mark. There. There we go. So it's not a bad looking shelf. Now let's flex this thing and see if it does what it's supposed to. Tall shelf. Square shelf. Long shelf. Ah. So this is an example of why we flex stuff. So let's go back to tall shelf. Okay, I'm gonna go to the front elevation, and I think what I need to do is I need to stick this to this reference plane now. How would I do that? No, that's not what I want. Let me try to reattach it to, oh, there we go. So before I accidentally stuck it to the material plane, and I want to stick it to the reference plane. So now I can lock it. And just for safety's sake, I'm going to do the same thing here, and I'm going to stick it to that reference plane, lock it, and now we should be good to go. Tall shelf, square shelf, long shelf, and we're done. Well, I think we're almost done. The one thing this assignment doesn't say to do, we should probably add some backing to it. So you can see there's a bit of backing in the render, and we don't have that here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the back view. I'm going to say create extrusion. Give me a rectangle, and I'm going to, just a second. Okay, and I'm gonna lock this to all four. Okay, I'll be right there. Just a second. And I'm gonna set the depth of this. Let's make it thin. Let's make it 6 millimeters, so 1/4 inch. Apply. Check mark. Let's see what that looks like in the actual render.
Yeah. What?
It's on the wrong side. So let's go to the left side again. Move this. Can we move this extrusion? No, we can't. Okay. I accidentally did these. I'm going to delete it. I know what I'm going to do. This nosing and the baseboard is kind of stuck on the back, but since the shelf is symmetrical from front to back, it doesn't make a difference until we stick our backing on. So I'm going to go to the front instead, and I'm going to do that extrusion here one more time. So create extrusion, rectangle, and I think I'm just going to do the whole. Yeah, I'm going to do the whole thing, like kind of like IKEA furniture. You just like staple that little piece of backing material on. So let's make it 6 millimeters. Let's lock it to these reference planes so it always flexes with the furniture. Let's check that out in 3D now. And it is wrong again. Lovely. How did we do that? Okay, I'm gonna solve this in a bit of an unelegant way. So we have a 450 is the depth of our furniture. So this is gonna be 450, and this is gonna be 444. Apply, and I'm sorry, I'm just running out of time. I will try to do a more elaborate explanation for this end part later. But now you can see the extrusion is pushed to the back. Let's flex it one last time to make sure it's all good. Top, tall shelf, square shelf, good, long shelf, and we are in business. This would get you, okay, let me rotate this a bit. There we go. Everything moves accordingly. This middle part moves accordingly. It's just a sec, baby, just a sec. And that's it. So this would get a very high mark or a perfect mark on the final exam. It looks like we've accomplished, yes, Taya, just a sec. We've accomplished everything, and I'm going to end it at that.